So, Nintendo has officially released the patch notes for the upcoming update for Splatoon 3. This is the mid-season balance update for the fresh season, bringing us to version 7.2.0, and it'll be releasing on April the 17th at midnight UTC. Now, let's take a look at all of the changes Nintendo has listed for this upcoming update. If you're excited, leave a like, and let's jump right into this. Starting us off, they confirmed that the terrain in Undertow Spillway has been changed in all modes. So as Nintendo announced ahead of time, they have made some changes to Undertow Spillway. We don't know yet whether these will really be super positive or not. I think a lot of people are generally feeling like it's not going to do too much. It kind of looks like they just added a pole in the middle of the stage and changed a few little other things, so I don't really know why they did this, to be honest with you, but hey, it is a significant change in this update that is worth talking about. Specifications for some main weapons have changed. Splush-O-Matic and Neo-Splush-O-Matic. Slightly expanded shots collision detection with players to make it easier to hit opponents. Splattershot Pro Forged Splattershot Pro. Maximum damage has been increased from 42.0 to 45.0. Splattershot Nova and Anarchy Splattershot Nova. Reduce the shot spread while on land by approximately 8%. H3 Nozzle Nose and H3 Nozzle Nose D. Maximum damage has been increased from 41.0 to 44.0. Lunar Blaster and Lunar Blaster Neo and also Order Blaster Replica. Increase the radius of the ink splatter at the point of impact with terrain or when detonated mid-air by approximately 20%. So technically this is the only side order change within this whole update. It's of course not specifically side order related, but it is the weapon that you end up getting from side order if you complete it using that blaster. So if you have been using that replica weapon, you do get a little change here, which definitely seems like a positive one in my opinion. So hey, that's a good little side order detail I just wanted to point out. S-Blast 92 and S-Blast 91. Increase the radius of the 50.0 damage explosion for long flight radius shots by about 11%. Paintbrush and Paintbrush Nouveau. Don't know why my voice cracked there. Increase inking width when holding the ZR button to ink while moving forward by approximately 18%. Shorten the time before ink starts recovering after holding the ZR button to ink while moving forward by approximately 1/6 of a second. And finally, the Dapple Jewelies and Dapple Jewelies Nouveau. Movement speed while firing is now about 5% faster. So there's definitely some interesting buffs here. Most of these are buffs. In fact, I think, yeah, almost the majority of them are. There are some here that aren't. Like this one doesn't seem like a buff to me. But yeah, definitely some good changes here for these weapons. I'm personally sad about this one getting a little nerf, but I feel like some people had complained about this weapon, so maybe it'll be good for them. But yeah, definitely some good changes, and interesting that this is the only side order change in the whole update, as you'll come to see. So if you were hoping for some interesting side order updates, I'm sorry, but there's really not anything here for you. Now, specifications for some special weapons have changed. Big Bubbler. Reduce damage dealt to the inner device and top section by approximately 22%. It is great to see the Big Bubbler get some sort of buff in this update. It has been a long time coming. However, I don't feel like this change really goes far enough to make the Big Bubbler that worth using. It definitely does have some niche uses I've found. I really love using it in tower control, for example. On some maps it works really well, and I do feel like this change will actually help a little bit. But there's a reason why the Big Bubbler is probably the least popular special in the entire game, and that is because, yeah, it's just not very great, and I feel like changes like this could have gone a lot further to make the weapon even better. So, it's not too exciting in my opinion, it's just, whatever, but I'm glad to see something for it. Splatter Color Screen. Increase the damage dealt to opponents who touch the screen from 30 to 40. Now, I do feel like this is probably a good change. The Splatter Color Screen is a very controversial special, and Nintendo hasn't addressed any of the issues that people have still with it in terms of the audio and sensory issues. They did address some initially, which was good, but there are still some issues with this that I would like to see them address, and I'm sure a lot of others would too. In terms of the actual buff here though, I feel like, yeah, it's an okay idea. Personally, the Splatter Color Screen is not one of my favorite specials to use, and I hate interacting with it. It just feels annoying more than anything. It doesn't really pose too much of a threat, I would say, to my personal playing style, but it is really annoying to come up against, and I suppose this will kind of help increase that a little bit, you know, push people back a bit so they won't want to touch that screen, which is probably a good idea. Triple Splashdown. Reduce the amount of time it takes for a player and Ink Fist to start dropping after they rise by about 1/6 of a second. Decreased the radius of the 60 damage explosion by approximately 13%. So this is interesting. There's kind of a balance here to this where it did get a little buff, but it also got a slight nerf. Personally, I think this buff is just going to go even further in helping this weapon, and a lot of people really do not like the triple splashdown. They feel like it's too powerful. Other people think the weapon is completely useless and easily defeated. I'm somewhere in the middle where I think this is just a good weapon. It's not too easy to defeat, it's not as easy as the splashdown from past games, and it's not too powerful either. I just think it's fine. I never really had any issues with this at all. I feel like it's just one of those things where, yeah, some special weapons are going to be powerful when they make contact with you. That's just kind of how they work. Not to say that I don't think any changes for it aren't a good idea. Like, I feel like this definitely could help decreasing the explosion, but I personally really like that part of it. That's one thing that made me enjoy using it, and I don't know if the dropping thing is really going to help too much. You know, I guess it will if people are trying to kill you in the air, but it definitely wasn't as much of a problem in this game as it was back in, you know, Splatoon 2. Kraken Royale made it so that super jumping to an ally using Kraken Royale will super jump to the location where the ally started using Kraken Royale rather than the ally's current position. So the Kraken cheese has been officially nerfed. This is a great change, probably the best change in the whole update. I'm seeing a lot of people excited about this one, and yeah, I completely understand why. The Kraken cheese, I wasn't even really aware of this, but now that I understand it, yeah, that's definitely very annoying. So I'm glad that Nintendo has adjusted this, because that's just something we didn't need to see. The Kraken Royale is already so good, we don't need more cheese on this special weapon. Points required for some special weapons have been changed, so you can see all of those listed here. There's actually quite a lot. As you can see, some have gotten pretty decent buffs, which is great to see, so it'll be even easier to get your specials off. Trying to look for nerfs here. What nerfs do we have? This one. Okay, so this one got a bit of a nerf. This one got a nerf. And these ones got a nerf as well. So Snipe Rider 5H got an interesting nerf. I did see some people kind of speculate if Nintendo had made any of these changes based on the World Tournament that just happened, but I feel like that would be a bit too, you know, like, that only just happened days ago. I'm sure this update was in the works for a while, so I don't know about that personally, but hey, maybe it could. This update focuses on making changes to multiplayer. For some weapons, we've strengthened their unique characteristics or made them easier to handle. For the Big Bubbler, we've changed it to increase the amount of time you can safely act by making it harder to destroy, even from positions that make it easy to attack the weak points. For the Splatter Cutter screen, we've changed it to make it easier to control opponents' movements by increasing the risk of touching the screen. For the Triple Splashdown, while it is difficult to time its use when opponents actively attempt to shoot the player down, it is extremely powerful when opponents don't shoot the player down. Therefore, we have simultaneously changed it to make it harder to shoot down and narrowed the area of effect. For the Kraken Royale, we changed it to ease an issue where, from the perspective of opposing players, it felt like to stop countdown progressions when combining Kraken Royale with Super Jump in certain modes. We plan on releasing the next update at the end of the current season. It'll focus primarily on weapon balance adjustments and adding features for Sizzle Season 2024. The next update is also planned to change it so when a player's rank in any mode is within 1000 for the previous season's X rankings, the rank change due to season switch will become S+0. This change is to alleviate a problem making matchmaking in X battle rules difficult immediately after season switch for players with particularly high X power. That's definitely a good change at the end. So yeah, this is the mid-season balance update. Some interesting changes here. Notably, there are no bug fixes or really any changes for side order at all. That really surprised me that there's no bug fixes for side order. There's definitely still some issues there, I feel like, so yeah, that came as a bit of a surprise. The only side order change at all would be that replica weapon, and that's obviously related to another weapon, so not really side order related. But yeah, let me know your thoughts about these changes down below. What do you think is good? What do you think is bad? I'd love to hear. If you made it to the end, be sure to comment Splat Gang so I know you did. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on notifications for more.